So, as seen in the previous thing, I turned the round chunk of aluminum into what looks like a pulley, and I got this far with it, but before I get the whole way, since it's just my luck that if I got the whole way down and then I would screw up the hole and then I'd have to redo it again. So I did manage to get small holes the whole way through, and I got on this side, which is the important face, I got a 15-30 seconds. I got the 15-30 seconds drill bit down in part way. Now the one problem is wobbles. So it's, not going to be a tight shaft if I drill it like that. That's going to have wobble. But the shaft size I need is 5/8, and I bought a set of drill bits that had a 9/16 bit. So if I can get it up to 9/16, and I also bought a 5/8 inch reamer. The one thing I ran into is with the bigger size bit. I had a bit that was bigger than this for the lathe, and you can see there that might be a 1/2 inch. But the problem is the lathe wouldn't hold the metal, and it was spinning, and it was catching and spinning even with taking just fractional hunt and peck type drilling on the lathe. So I couldn't even get the whole way through this on the lathe with the larger size. So that there is the full distance that I was able to get through on the lathe. So that's only about that far. So I need to go further than that. And so what I'm hoping, I don't have the blocks like most people who do machining would have. The closest thing I have are these brass height gauge sets, which again aren't super the right size, but they're pretty close. So I have a 1/2 inch one from this shorter set and a 1/2 inch one from the long set. And I'm hoping that I might be able to somehow get this in here, get that in there with some soft jaws on the side so it doesn't screw up going. And then I'm really hoping I can somehow put the center up on here with the drill press, use the cross slide vise to keep this centered on the drill press, and then without moving the cross slide vise, assuming I can manage that, just use the different size drill bits that I have to get up to the 9/16, and then maybe I can take it from there back over to the lathe and use the boring attachments to go from 9/16 to 5/8. And I'm really hoping that this thing is square to the drill bit, so I will be testing that too to see if I can get that square. If so, hopefully that will be right, and then I can use the drill press to make it bigger. We'll see. And now it's time to drill. This mostly worked okay. First drill bit worked fine. Then I realized once I got it, because I put the drill bit in before I attached it, then I realized I had to adjust the table, and you can see I'm underneath. That's a whole other issue, but I got it all drilled, so that worked. Eventful once I got to it. You'll notice there's no cabinet below the drill press. That's because, and I noticed this before when I was using smaller drill bits, but I remembered, this base plus the adapter plate plus the really tall cross slide vise means it sucks up most of the distance. And I can't get, if I have a piece in there that tall, I can't get a drill bit in and out without moving this bottom piece, which I didn't want to do because then I finally got it centered. So the easiest thing was to just it's not attached, I just have to empty it, raise this up, take it off. But it did make a hole. So that's at 9/16, and 5/8 is a 1/16 more than that. So theoretically, as long as that's close to centered, assuming that my boring bar will go that deep. I don't know that, but assuming that is the case, I could get that, and I guess I'll look at the reamer and see how much reaming that will do, because I know you're supposed to get close but not over for reaming. Maybe 9/16 is close enough to ream to 5/8, I don't know. In which case, if that is the case, I'll just try and ream it the rest of the way, and then, yeah, it's getting there.